PDC und war auch schon zweimal im Alexandra Palace bei der Weltmeisterschaft mit dabei. Und der Mann wirft extrem schnell und trägt deshalb den Spitznamen Rapid. Ricky Evans! Ricky Evans trifft auf die Nummer 74 der Welt. Er ist 45 Jahre alt, kommt aus Knittelfeld, aus Österreich, hat ein tolles Jahr 2017 gespielt. Deshalb so gut, weil es vor allem sehr konstante Leistungen hatte. Und er stand auch in seinem ersten PDC Pro Tour Finale. Die Rede ist vom Hypercane Zoran Lerchbacher.
One of the fastest throwers in the sport. It's good to see Ricky Evans back on the European Tour stage. It's been some time without him. You have to go all the way back to the German Masters at the near outset of the European Tour for this year when he last made an appearance on the European Tour stage. It was a very short-lived one as well. He lost to Jeffrey de Graaf in the first round of the German Darts Masters by 6 legs to 5. And Evans, well, he could have picked maybe a kinder opponent for the opening match here. Zoran Lerchbacher is a man who was a recent finalist on the Pro Tour circuit, making the final at Players' Championship 16 as recently as July. Qualifying for the Players' Championship finals with something in hand. Paul Nicholson alongside me for this one. Ricky Evans and Zoran Lerchbacher. How do you see this one shaping up?
Well, from Ricky's point of view, it's going to be quick. But with Zoran, his action is a bit more deliberate. And it's a difficult one to call. I've seen Ricky very close up in the last few days, and his game looks in pretty good shape. Beat Peter Wright recently in a Dublin match on the Pro Tour.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg is Zoran to throw first. Game on.
But with Ricky, sometimes it's all about on the day. Zoran's had a very good season, making his first final on the Pro Tour. I think that's given him a lot of confidence in his own ability. And he's established himself as a genuine force, not just in Austrian darts, but in world darts.
Yeah, and with that run to the final in Players' Championship 16, it meant he could afford to have a few slip-ups towards the end of the campaign. He certainly did, actually. He had 3 first-round defeats in his last 4 Players' Championship events. But like I say, he's still qualified with room to spare. And at this early juncture, I'll also say congratulations to you as well, Paul, for making it through to Minehead at the end of November as well.
140.
Yeah, not a bad achievement for myself. A little bit of progress on last year's efforts. Obviously, making it to the European Tour 3 times and doing that, I've seen genuine progress. But my job this weekend is to talk about other players
60.
And how well they're doing. Well, Ricky Evans right now, as a lot of you at home who watch a lot of darts with us, will probably
59.
notice that he's got new equipment, something that he's been trying to break in for the last few weeks, and he feels very comfortable with them. But it does take time when you've got new darts, longer stems, and new colours. So he's starting fresh. Seems to be going okay for Ricky in getting here. But right now, Zoran is in command.
134. Zoran Yukar, 67.
Well, we'll just see if Lerchbacher can take this out before we digress a little bit further about Evans and the pathway he's taken this year.
51. Ricky Yukar,
chance
108.
Here for Evans to break in the very first leg.
Treble 16 would have left tops. I'm very surprised that Ricky didn't go for treble 19, 19, double 16. I've seen him go that way many, many times. But now with Zoran in that bottom left corner at double 8. Has to switch all the way to double 4 now. Gets that for the first leg. Austrian in front.
Game on.
Yeah, Rick Evans had a promising start to the year. It was a very strange to see him fall by the wayside in the way that he has, because he made the semi-finals of the first UK Open qualifier right at the start of the calendar year, got into, or right at the start of the darting calendar year, I should say, before losing to Adrian Lewis, qualified for one of the early European Tour events, and yeah, as you say, didn't seem to be any problems for him, but then
85.
Obviously tailed off a little bit, and now with this new equipment, looking to re-establish himself once again. Needs a miracle to qualify for the European Championship itself. It's a much clearer picture for Lerchbacher, by the way.
60.
£7,000 he has on the European Order of Merit, so it's a very much more attainable goal as far as he's concerned.
96.
You've got to think Zoran's target really this weekend is just to do better on the European Tour than he's ever done. And that the rest of it will take care of itself. But with Ricky, yeah, he did have a very good start of the season, but a lot of people who follow him on social media, as we see a 180 from Zoran, who gets him back in the leg and in front. But Ricky's social media tells a story. Sometimes some of his tweets, you just want to give him a hug and say it's all going to be all right, Ricky. So we're looking at 60. At least 67. He's got his pick now. Treble or single. Oh, it's double 8 again. Can he hit it this time?
111.
No, he's got to take up the Shanghai 20s.
Well, he wasn't overly convincing on the doubles in the first leg, was Lerchbacher.
Game shown the second leg.
Double 20, double 10.
Ricky Evans. Third leg is drawn on the third first.
He likes it. The crowd likes it. And I have to say, we like that as well.
I like that because his darts are very long. And when you look at where that first dart was, it was right in the middle of the 60. But that double 20 would have been shielded by the angle of entry for the dart. So he's gone very high, done the right thing. He's pinged tops, and then he hasn't thought about it because he doesn't think about it. He hit that double 10, and that was a very attractive shot.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, it's October 13th, 2017.
It is indeed. Time is flying. Tempest fugit.
Yeah. On this day in history,
140.
in 1884, Greenwich in London was established as a universal time meridian of longitude. Now, there's a little bit of history for you.
59.
But
I like that.
if you fast forward 100 years after that, exactly,
to the day,
to 1984, this was the day in history when John Lowe hit the first televised 9-dart leg. What's going to happen today?
96.
It's in the Stars Ball. I didn't even mention the prospect of the N-word, 9-darter. The elusive 9-darter.
We had another one on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, Chizzy the other day. Mentor did one in Dublin, didn't he, as well, recently? I think we've had 26 9-darters this year.
59.
Off the top of my head. Let me just quickly double-check that particular statistic.
96.
Yeah, 26.
Zoran, you require 140.
Or maybe it will be 27.
Who hit the first? Which trivia teaser for you?
Probably Dave Chisnell, was it?
I'll give you a clue. He's not here this weekend, but he did qualify for the last European Tour.
41.
I just love it when you put me on the spot, Rob.
Ted Everts.
Edward Everts.
In the UK Open qualifier, the third UK Open qualifier.
The man with the naughty socks. Last week, he had socks with hot dogs on and sushi. I can't wait to see what he wears in future tournaments. But double 16 is exactly what Zora needs.
74.
And Ricky
Ricard,
can he trump that 120 with top of the shop?
Well, it's on. It's still on.
145.
And that would have been a very, very eye-catching and a stylish way to break the Lerchbacher throw. As it is, Lerchbacher looking at double 16 for a 2-1 lead.
Shot on the third leg.
And he takes it, and Ricky Evans just reflecting momentarily on what might have been there. As it is, he's still very much involved here. Could do with the treble. Yep, gets one with the final dart.
Sometimes you've got to look twice at Zoran's shots on doubles because his darts will quite far into the bed. And with that double 16, I had to look twice just to make sure that it was in. Just like that treble 19 there.
96.
Those points are very, very thin and flexible, as you can see, because the dart is swinging around when it hits the board. But one other thing I was going to mention, Rob, the back of Zoran's shirt looks a bit scary to me. It reminds me of Ryuk from that new film Death Note.
I was going to say on the front of his shirt, there's a good half hour's read there, Paul, as well. Look at that.
125.
I know you like to read the occasional novel or two on the flight over, but if you'd forgotten your books this weekend, Paul, not a problem. Just read the Lerchbacher shirt. Evans with a 180. Gets him down to 99.
That shirt at the moment, we've got all sorts of things. And I was reading Warwick Sheffer's shirt earlier in the week, and that's got a proverb on it. Right, it's got 180 written all over it. What's he going to do? 99? 19. That's 78. That's 24. That could have been the leg.
Zoran, you require 100.
It isn't. Now Zoran's got an even 100 to steal and get the 2-leg advantage.
Oh, well, could have done without that, obviously.
44.
And
Ricky
Evans will return,
24.
looking at double 12 once again here. Double 6.
Game shot of the fourth
2
leg.
apiece.
Ricky Evans. Fifth leg is Zoran to throw first. Game on.
Talking about Ricky again, I've known Ricky quite a long time. Comes from a darting family in Northamptonshire. His sister Alicia is a very good player.
100.
Everybody in his family is a decent player, I think. But one thing that Ricky, from a lot of the people who know him,
100.
just think he needs to be a little bit more life confident about himself. Darts is his way of expressing himself, and he's rapid, as per his nickname. He's very, very watchable when he's on. I remember the game with Simon Whitlock at the World
100.
Championships, which was one of the most entertaining games I think we've ever seen. But if he was like that all the time, I think he would come out of his shell
60.
in life. Because he's a genuinely funny boy.
Yeah, he's a very likeable character as well. You can't fail to notice he's there when he's around, if you know what I mean.
That's right.
But in a very, in a nice way.
May have something to do with the fact that he hangs around a few jokers like Dave Pallett.
Stephen Bunsey.
Yeah.
96. Zoran, you require 121.
There's no laughing here because it's 2-2. This is a close game so far. 96 remain for Zoran. He'll take that.
105.
That's a good setup from the Austrian.
59. Zoran, you require 16.
Yeah, Evans just losing his way here as he tries to keep pace with Lerchbacher. Lerchbacher again looking at double 8.
Game shot on the
And this time there's no mistake from the Austrian. And Hyper Kane gets his nose back in front at 3-2. Both these players made the second round here last year. I think it was actually Evans' best performance on the European Tour last year, making the second round. He was close to making it to the third round as well. He lost 6-5 to Simon Whitlock, whereas Lerchbacher was beaten 6-5 by Terry Jenkins.
140.
And Evans had to negotiate a fairly testing route through qualifying as well, beating Darren Johnson, who we mentioned before, had a great start to the year in terms of the European Tour events. Looked to be a very genuine candidate for qualification as early as, say, Gibraltar, Hamburg time. But just hasn't really happened for Darren in the second half of 2017 on the European stage. And
100.
Richard North was the other man he overcame as well, so it was a difficult path for Evans to come through, especially given that he's not really had a great amount of joy in qualifying this year. As for Lerchbacher, he overcame both Mario Robber and Jimi Hendrix, losing 5 legs over the course of those two.
Yeah, good qualification for Ricky. 2 tricky games. I know that Darren has not played his best in the last few months, but he's still not easy to beat. Richard North right now is very hard to beat.
121.
So he won the Battle of the Strawberry Blondes that day. Zoran, all he wants now is that 1-2-1. He's had a pop at this in the last leg. This time he goes a different route.
Yeah, he's got it. Bullseye.
96.
Evans is back in once again.
92.
This could be gone in a flash. That's 19. 73 leaves 16. There it is.
Shot on the 6th leg.
A bit of emotion from Ricky.
Evans.
It's a good job my maths were good because I didn't have time to think about it. Rapid doesn't think, he just hits.
And you heard the cry there of, come on. Evans just geeing himself up here. It's a really good battle, this one. First match was
134.
a match that always looked to be slipping away from Mick Todd. He was 3-0 down fairly swiftly against Watermain. Did win 3 of the next 4, but in the end the Dutchman came through. But this is a much more keenly fought encounter. The winner of this to face Michael van Gerwen, by the way, in round 2. MVG back on the European Tour after missing the International Darts Open in Riesa.
99.
Yeah, Michael's been over in Dubai since his elimination at the World Grand Prix. John Henderson.
60.
He was in Dubai about 24 hours later with the family, just chilling out and getting himself ready. But on social media, he has said that Now the rest is over. He is assured that he is going to miss nothing between now and the new year.
And often when Michael van Gerwen takes a little bit of a breather, he comes back. I remember when he went to
134.
It was in between. It was just before the start of the European campaign in 2015. It was the post-World Championship. I think he went off to the Maldives or somewhere like that, or the Seychelles. Can't think where it was. Somewhere nice anyway, somewhere I've never been. And he had a breather, had a holiday, and he just came back and he looked a different man. He just looked totally refreshed and revitalised. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he has had the same benefits this week as well. So be warned, rest of the field. I'm sure they're already sitting up and taking notice anyway, but Michael van Gerwen on the back of a holiday is a very, very different animal indeed.
Yes, he is. He will be ready to come back to work. Who will he face? Zoran will be favoured if he gets this top.
And
there it is.
Lerchbacher
goes the dart.
4-3
to Zoran.
60.
You've got to give Zoran a lot of credit this year. He's kicked on in 2017, and he's backed himself financially and confidence-wise. He said, I'm going to give this a proper go this year. And I remember when he first broke onto the scene,
100.
And you thought, yeah, he's all right, he's decent. But he has got gradually better over the last few seasons. And this has been a standout year for him.
134.
He certainly made a few people sit up and take notice when he beat Simon Stevenson in the prelim at the World Championship. I mean, a lot of people expected Stevenson to win that, given the year he'd had. You know, that emergence that we'd seen from Stevenson beforehand. And, you know, clearly Stevenson was a player who'd made massive strides up until that point in time. So Lerchbacher beat him. Evans pings the fifth 180 of the match.
On the flip side, one of the things that we know about Ricky Evans is that he can fight. It doesn't matter what position he's in. He can find a way, and he can do it fast. Fast for double eight.
119.
There are those who will say, wouldn't it be worth just slowing down ever so slightly for that final dart? Especially when your opponent's on 2-6-1, you've got a bit in hand. Why not just take a moment and just size it up?
Potentially, yeah, but you never know.
What's the argument against that? I mean,
140, Ricky require 8.
He does so much practice, Ricky, that he just gets on with it. He doesn't want to think.
Well, he's still not there. He's busted score there, and Lerchbacher's on 1-2-1. And the people who do argue that may well have a case here.
Well, if you try and throw that quick, you guys at home, it's not easy. But maybe Ricky's in the matrix. There's another way of explaining it. But treble 17, this will give Zoran a huge advantage. He takes time because he knows this is the biggest start of the match.
Yeah, this is a key. This is a break for a 5-3 lead. Bullseye he wants. Well, he's
88.
Fairly off beam with that one as well. So Ricky Evans back on the hockey here. Double 2, double 1 again.
No score.
Same route, almost. Exact carbon copy.
Yeah, deja vu. And that's not a good sign in the matrix. Must have seen a black cat walking by. Double 8 again. What seems to be Zoran Lerchbacher's favourite double.
Yeah.
And there's the proof because he's hit it once more.
Well, twice Ricky Evans approached the board looking at 8s, and twice he couldn't take it out, and he looks fairly resigned here because he knows that he can't afford to give too many opportunities away. And in a match of this nature where it's gone toe-to-toe right throughout, to secure that break in the 8th leg, to leave yourself throwing for the match, that's a big incentive here for Lerchbacher, and it's a big, big setback for Ricky Evans as well.
Well, those last 6 darts in the last leg were maybe the postcard for their season. Missed darts at doubles for Ricky, taking opportunities for Zoran. Zoran's had the better season, and it seems like he is going to be the one to go forward. I did mention earlier to you, Rob, that Ricky's got that ability to scrap, but the look on his face at the back of the stage there looked not very energised. He needs something to give him a boost.
Yeah, it must be so dispiriting as well, because this is only his 2nd European Tour event of the year. He's not won on the European Tour this year. This is obviously his only opportunity to just, you know, show people what he can do, get some prize money, get some ranking points on the board as well. And he's not really being given a look at here either. He knows he had to make the most of this.
One thing we should mention as well, Rob, before I forget, is that yeah, we're looking at World Championship spots being solidified this week, places in the European Championship as well, but there are also tour cards on the line.
Yeah,
and that's something that we will touch on in future matches. People's careers are going to go in all sorts of directions in the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Do not miss a beat with us.
Livelihoods, futures, careers, lives themselves.
70
on the line here this weekend. And Lerchbacher 1-10 away from a place in round 2 and a meeting with the best player in the world right now.
110.
What I will say, Rob, is that I like the setup of Ricky Evans. I like the way the darts are going in. Give him time. I think there are good things in his future. But Zoran right now has just been a little bit too strong.
54.
And he will return to finish this match off.
And all Ricky Evans can do is
96.
just try and get down to something manageable.
56.
But he's may well have thrown his last dart there. Lerchbacher 56 away. 2 bites at tops for Lerchbacher. And he only needs one. And the Austrian Hyper Kane advances to a meeting with Michael van Gerwen here at the Lochhalle in Göttingen for the second round of the European Darts Trophy, and a very healthy average of just over 100 doing the job as well. Ricky Evans undone really in that all-important 8th leg. He had 2 visits to the board where he was looking at 8. He failed to take it out on both occasions. Lerchbacher pounced, and Lerchbacher it is who goes through. It's another first-round defeat on the European Tour this year for Ricky Evans. 2 from 2 for him, and that is the end of his campaign. On the way next, we've got Jonathan Worsley, the Womble, against Keegan, the Needle Brown.
Zoran, gratuliere dir. Passt irgendwie in das Jahr 2017, so ein Matchgewinn. Ich habe bei dir so den Eindruck, das wird alles immer selbstverständlicher, dass du auch Leute wie Ricky Evans dann einfach auch schlägst.
Ja, wie gesagt, in Österreich heißt es, Schule kostet. Und ich habe genug gelernt, endlich mal über die erste Runde. Ich freue mich natürlich. Ja, danke euch.
Du weißt, morgen Abend ist die Hütte bumsvoll, über 3.500 Zuschauer, und es wartet ein gewisser Herr van Gerwen. Schon mal gegen den gespielt? Ich habe es gar nicht gecheckt.
Ja, habe ich eine gewaltig auf die Klatsche bekommen. Aber schau mal, vielleicht ich bin heuer besser drauf. Und wenn ich mein Spiel spielen kann, kann ich ihn schon ärgern.
Ist das eher großen Respekt haben oder mehr, habe ich echt Bock drauf, gegen die Nummer 1 der Welt zu spielen?
Nee, der ist die Nummer 1, brauchen wir nicht reden. Also der ist ein Top-Player. Aber ich freue mich immer, gegen diese Leute zu spielen. Und ja, ich kann mich nur selber schlagen. Ganz einfach.
Okay, da sind Darts noch runtergefallen. Du stehst in Runde 2, wir sehen uns morgen wieder.
Ja, danke schön.
Zoran Lerchbacher, the Hyper Kane. Morgen also dann ran gegen